Paulette and Margaret and Melissa if they want to do that. If not, they were thinking about maybe pulling some students that still need to pass the SAT or anything like that, maybe working one-to-one with them. So I'm gonna kind of leave that up to them, and then we can decide. I mean, we know that we need to prep for at least up to April 13th, having them do SAT stuff alongside whatever we wind up doing. So I was thinking kind of regardless of anything, we should probably, if we're gonna stick with all the short like sections and short pieces and things, maybe cutting some of either the sections or just pieces out, make it a little smaller on the English side so that they have equal time to focus on SAT practices and anything they have left to do. The alternate thing that I was considering, it's kind of up to whatever we wanted to do, was if we wanted to do novel instead of those short sections, and just focus on a whole class novel and work through it through all of quarter 4. That's kind of what I did mostly here in this quarter. On the English side, I really just did Gatsby, and I thought it balanced pretty well because it split the time, or if she was going to be gone, or vice versa. You know, it worked out evenly in the end, where I had ample time to get into the novel and anything that I needed to do with that, and she still had plenty of time for it. So that was a question I was going to pose today, what everybody would kind of prefer to do. Do you want to go into novel based? If so, would you kind of narrow down which one you might want to do, or have a change between like honors and standard? Or if we want to stick with what we're used to, which is perfectly fine too, and doing like the sections, if we want to cut maybe a whole section or certain pieces out, that would be something to kind of hopefully nail down today to some degree. That way we have those 2 weeks left here to kind of plan that whatever we want. So, I mean, kind of up to what everybody wants to do.
I'm good either way, so I mean.
Do a novel, or do we want to stick with our sections?
I'm good with whatever, so.
What do you normally do in the way of sections? I'm sorry, Aaron was in here, we were kind of chatting, I don't mean to be rude.
Oh, you're fine. So normally, I mean, I've always done like the women writers, Harlem, social protests, those are what I meant by like sections. But it's all like short stories and things like that. So I have it on the, I did add some texts on the Google thing that I sent out, the curriculum, whatever it was. Most of them were kind of optional, one or the other or something, just to add some more diverse writers into what we were already doing. But for the most part, I stuck with that. But we're splitting time with, I was always going to struggle to cover everything without SAT stuff. So I feel like if we're going to stick to that, that's perfectly fine with me. But probably cutting down some of, either cutting like maybe a whole section or
last quarter on poetics that was based mostly in spoken word slam poetry, and it had back from Britain, a couple guys. It was mostly American. Given that we're in American class, but there was one guy from Britain that's just fantastic. And it was people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, all different races and cultures, and I don't know, I think they found it very, very approachable and accessible because it's not this distinguished Shakespearean eloquence that makes them run for the freaking hills. And I thought it landed pretty well, and I still have it all designed. If you guys want to take a look at it, I'll drop it in the drive. But that was a good way to go out, at least for last year. I can only speak for last year for English 3 because it's only my second year, but I feel like they're getting mentally checked out anyways, as are we. And so like the short form, either short form prose or accessible poetics that's not like completely dense was effective because it kept their attention span long enough for them to stay engaged. I think if we try to handle a little bit, throw it in our faces.
Oh,
Yeah, that's probably true.
I think, yeah, that was kind of my, plus a novel is more stuff. It's not something that, for the most part. So I'm probably going to stick with just, second. So this is what I have currently on there, but that's from way back in August. We're still kind of, so these are the normal, quote unquote. In my personal thinking, if I was sticking with this, I was going to cut women writers, and maybe touch on like some of the pieces later in different sections. But mostly I was gonna cut that one out and then focus on a couple pieces from Harlem. With 20th century, I was just gonna focus on the war pieces and then some of the pieces from the social protests. So it was still gonna be like short, whatever. And we could probably do a combination of the like poets, so that way they are getting some poetry also. We could do what you were just mentioning, and then maybe some pieces, a couple of pieces here and there from some of these sections. Both of them are one set. Or we can do some of them work with them. But, yeah. Train of thought is just like stop. It's like, don't stop that.
I feel that.
Yeah. So, I don't know if with quarter four, she wants us to try to match more, because we kind of already have done this for a quarter. Because quarter three, she said, don't worry about it. As far as the English side, trying to match, because she just do what will work with the co-teacher. So I don't know if it's kind of carrying over into this quarter, or if she wants us to, match more so. So maybe we can narrow down like 2 to 3 of these pieces that we all just do, in some capacity at least. And then if you want to do extra texts or things like your poetry, if you want to share that still, like your poetry that you were mentioning, then as long as we match some, it'll be fine. Are there any particular texts that everybody enjoys and like wants to make sure we use in our matching? These are the normal ones, for the most part. Some of them are
I see if the seniors are going to be using this. If they're not, then we should definitely hijack it. But since they haven't had enough Jason Reynolds in their lives, students this year, but it'll scare the crap out of them, which will be hilarious because they'll be terrified that they're getting another thick book, except for the fact that the whole thing is written in free verse. But the voice is super approachable. Like if I was just to be narrating it and they had no idea what the pages look like, you know what I mean? It's very much in a young adult voice. It would pair well with Harlem Renaissance. But like the first piece, it just says like, don't nobody believe nothing these days, which is why I haven't told nobody the story I'm about to tell you. The truth is, you probably ain't gonna believe it either. Don't think I'm lying or I'm losing it, but I'm telling you the story's true. So it's very, very approachable. It's a super quick read. Even your most reluctant readers could probably knock it out in a sitting or two. So something to think about.
I like it.
Yeah, sounds good.
We've done a whole lot of poetry with them. Honestly, that would probably be good. I don't know what we're doing in quarter four with students. Usually it's like some poetry and then do satire with honors. Standard does like lit circles usually, so I don't know.
Satire's fun.
Satire, so. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe that could be our. Do you know if that do we? I doubt we have copies of it. If do you know if it's on that PDF drive digitally?
No, I don't. But I know a couple of tech savvy, evil genius pirate types that would be able to probably acquire us a PDF. That's how we got the PDF stamp this year.
Ah, it's very possible that it's on there. I can see it's not. Yeah, so
It probably is, just because he's the national spokesperson for the Young Adult Voice of Lit, so they probably have every work of his available to every single district. That'd be my guess.
nice. I don't know. So, as far as, I guess, matching, maybe we, I think we should probably all do Harlem.
The Renaissance.
I think it's a good year to do Hearts, especially to do Harlem.
Yeah.
And focus on what was going on then, and maybe even lump in things from now if you want to. I always do the, I think Ellen introduced some of them. With I2 Sing America, I have them do a project comparing with like Walt Whitman, because it was kind of a response to Walt Whitman, whatever Walt Whitman says, and they kind of their own concept of what America is to them. And I think what other oh yeah, I think that was on discussion, whatever, but I usually at least that.
That's the I See America
with,
Singing one? Or Hear America
Yeah.
Singing? Okay.
I do a poster thing with them. It's really just kind of, they rewrite it and what their image of America is, what America is to them. And in this day and age, basically, what the country is like for them. It's interesting.
It would be interesting.
I think at least Harlem, and then I don't know. I think I'm doing just 20th century war first one. But I still, even before I had extra pieces that I don't think other classes did. I don't know. A handful from some other sections. I definitely think Harlem. And maybe that's enough. Everybody does Harlem, and then if you have like a particular thing you want to do alongside that, if you want to stick to the same sections and the same texts as normal, or if you want to do like the poetry thing, I think that sounds awesome, and I will probably wind up doing it myself once I take a look at it, and just do some of at least Harlem, and then any other text that you feel like doing. But that way we at least match to some degree. I think, last I knew, we have no more money for PLCs, so like pull-up days, PDAs. But, I feel that 11th grade, especially if we're going to keep this co-teaching, setup, we'll definitely need one. Because we kind of need to restructure things on the English side if that's gonna happen. So hopefully we'll get one of those by the end of the year. I'm not gonna hold my breath on it, but hopefully we do. And then, because if we do continue, I think she's expecting more of a matching kind of setup, like next year. It seems that she wasn't as concerned about it, more so that they get the SAT stuff that they need, and then English we kind of, whatever we needed to do to kind of fill that rest of that time / help continue prepping for SAT as much as we can through like vocab / grammar and things like that. So I don't think matching is too much of a concern, at least at this point. But I think for the sake of trying to have some matching / continuity, maybe we can all just do at least the Harlem section and then maybe 1 or 2 other tests. But from there, whatever you have time to do, whatever works well for your classes. Except for anybody has objections,
No, I think that's good, and you're probably right. I'm sure that's what Rachel's thinking too. I know they're having a meeting today, so we'll find out tomorrow what she wants to do and what's going on with that. So.
Right. Jess, how are things going with your Connect?
So it's definitely really interesting, especially with the whole like including SAT. I used to do SAT like with my 10th graders, so that part has been easy, and they seem to really like it. It's at least something that they can understand is going to get them money in their pocket or be beneficial to them. So the buy-in for that has been really easy. But then also juggling it with, I started the Pearl at the beginning, not knowing that we were doing like that co-teaching model. So then I'm like really running out of time. So I've kind of just said like, we're just gonna scrap the Gatsby for right now and just focus on SAT since they're taking that in March. But otherwise, I mean, the kids seem like they're doing really well. The first few passages they did, they were scoring like anywhere from like 1 to 4, and now most of them are averaging like 7, 8 out of 10 each passage. So, I mean, I think they're doing well, and next quarter, I guess I'll just do Harlem and then 1 other section if I can fit it in. But I definitely do think focusing on SAT is more beneficial for them, so I'm excited with that model.
I agree. I think SAT as the main focus is probably the safe bet. Some of them have passed it, I think, but I mean, even still, they can only higher and better their scores, so and some of them are kind of hoping to get specific scores for like specific schools. We've had a couple come up to Paulette and I and ask like, okay, I'm getting the accordance score, but I want to know what I need to like get into schools, and so that kind of helps them with that. So yeah, I think kind of limiting what we wind up doing and letting almost the SAT prep kind of not necessarily take over, but you know, give them the time that they need to kind of crunch down. I think that's a better bet. And then we have a couple of weeks after they take the SAT to really kind of focus, because at that point they don't need to continue SAT prep. So from like April 14th to May, whatever, before we start testing galore and exams and all that craziness, that's a good time to do whatever to do. So it gives people time to really focus, and like I honestly quite often felt like I was really rushing through a lot of the texts in quarter 4 and not like giving them the time and focus that they needed with having like all the sections and the pieces, and it's a good excuse to cut some of those down and out and all that fun stuff. So yeah.
All right, so I guess that's our plan, and we'll see what they discussed with reading, and once we know that information, we can see what we need to add. But I guess the Harlem Renaissance pieces, and then whatever else we want, other thing we want to do, will be our set goal for now. And then third quarter, you know, whatever we did, that'll be our test for them. So sounds like we got that. We're good to go for now.
There is a PLC form on the calendar. They give the link to it on the calendar, so don't forget to fill that out.
Oh, yes.
I always forget.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know which ones I remembered. Are there any other sections that you guys like want to do to make sure that we're matching? Are there specific ones other than like Harlem that, or like specific pieces that you really want to do, or anything like that before we do?
I don't think so. I don't have the paper right in front of me, so I don't think so.
I can list them if you want, or just take a look. You can let me know, like email, and I can just shoot out an email to everybody. If there seems to be like a consensus or things like that, we can match past Harlem with this. There's really not a whole lot of pilot tests, I guess, that we do, but I think it's enough to our matching in this new model that is something we haven't really did it in quarter 3, but it's still not something that we're like used to, quote unquote. So I think 5% is enough, but if you have specific things, let me know. But otherwise, that's all I have. So anything else you have left, Wait?
No, that's it. That's all I was thinking about.
Thanks, Lincoln. You're the man.
Yes.
Appreciate it. All right, I guess we are good to go.
Yeah, either everybody needs to start calling him Lincoln or start calling me Brownston. We gotta level that playing field.
Yeah, start calling me Lincoln and see how confused we can get people. Does he have a twin? Yeah, see what happens.
That threw me for a loop. I still am like.
I think I'm gonna start referring to myself as Lincoln and see what happens.
We got your back, dude. We'll confuse them all.
Sounds like planned entertainment. All right. All right. Well, I guess we are good to go.